Northwest is amazing.
Yeah?
Best thing ever. If you have the time. And yeah. She crossed the path and never left.
So then you decided to walk together, or?
So we just arrived to one of the very famous sites, cultural sites in Kyrgyzstan, called the Burana Tower. We're here 80 kilometers from Bishkek to the east. Behind me, the hills, those are the Kazakhstani hills, but we're still in Kyrgyzstan, the Tian Shan mountains here on the other side. And so, what is this Burana Tower? We just looked it up. It's right there, first of all. It used to be double that height when it was originally built. It's one of the oldest structures in Central Asia. The Karakol Empire built it, and it went in decline after in the 14th and 15th centuries, in particular after the Mongol invasion. So the Chinese came, took it over, damaged it, but then the Mongols came and damaged it even more. And so after that, it never really recovered. More nice canals here, Kyrgyz canals. It never really recovered, was abandoned, and now you basically don't really see anything at all. And so it's a World Heritage Site, and the Mongols renamed it to, this is Balasagun, right? And here you can see the map, some of the stuff that is still remaining. I don't speak Russian, so I don't understand that, but yeah, let's check it out. So apparently this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Here you see the map of the original city. The Burana Tower is right here, and you can also see, so here segments of the wall can still be seen, and you can pause here for the descriptions, sponsored by the EU, but essentially, as I said, it went into disrepair after the Mongol conquest, but it was a key Silk Road city. So this is what the Burana Tower looks like. As I said, it used to be 2 times this city was in its heyday during the Silk Road. It's a minaret, what's left. There used to be a mosque, and this is all you can see of the, I mean, besides that, that probably was where the castle was, and I mean, you can see sort of a hill surrounding quite far. That would be presumably the wall that we saw on the map. What they also did here at the Burana Tower is, you see all these little stones here. They brought a bunch of the petroglyphs and stone carvings from around this whole valley, some dating back centuries before Christ, and brought them here because I guess they were spread out throughout the valley and the mountains, and this way tourists actually get to see them. Such a huge murder of crows above us. I don't know if the camera captures that, but it just never ends. It goes all the way in the distance that way.
Samarkand, or I don't know where.
Yeah.
Can you step one?
It's a bit dark in the Burana Tower, so do make sure to have something that creates light.
Oh my god.
The climb is not too long, though it's dark, but this is a fort viewed from above with the wall we were walking on. And look at that landscape, it's so flat. Right there is Kazakhstan, and those are the Tian Shan mountains. So this was once a massive city.
Looks like there were ruins here everywhere.
Yeah, old Soviet factory grounds. Maybe coal mines or coal factories. A random place here, completely filled with stores. But they have nice restaurants, I guess.
It's like the pit stop area.
Tons of people here. Yeah, I guess this is the pit stop area. And lots of these Chinese trucks, Shakman.
I guess it's like on all the routes
Yeah.
that you stop here before entering the mountains.
I guess there might not be too much up in the mountains. And besides us is an old Soviet railway. Out in the distance is a massive, massive factory. So big that they have ads and even the flag of Kyrgyzstan printed on the side. And here is a Kyrgyz mosque. This is what a Kyrgyz mosque looks like. And some yurts. This is also an auto stop area. They all have like these little metal chimney cooking stations. On this brand new highway, probably a Chinese built highway from the Belt and Road Initiative, because Kyrgyzstan is the major importer of Chinese goods into Central Asia. And some beautiful scenery around us. We'll be heading to a canyon pretty soon, if we manage to hike there from a reasonable distance from this highway. So we're here beside the highway, and this is the start to trek to the Konorchekskiya Canyons. We just spoke to those people down there. This is the parking. That's what it looks like, the area. So when you see these big signs, before those big signs you have to get off the highway. And so these people did 1 hour and 44 minutes. So let's check it out. I think that's the start there. So we're in the riverbed, and we're just judging the path by these footsteps in the sand, because actually the riverbed continues over the top here. But we bumped into maybe 3 or 4 other groups, mostly Russians, and 1 group of Italians. Halfway there. And here we have some beautiful natural bloom in the middle of this canyon. And you can tell that it must be racked by sudden massive floods. I mean, I guess if it rains up mountain, this whole place is flooded, because look at the ground. It's clearly a floodplain, or not a floodplain, but a flood valley. So next you come to this valley split, and you have to go left to follow the markings on that wall. You go left and look at these mountains surrounding us, and we're not that far from Afghanistan, so I imagine it must look somewhat like this, and can sort of understand why it was so difficult for the Americans to hold that territory if you have people that can hide up on those high mountains shooting down on you and you can't even see them. At one point you have to do a little climb up the valley. That's where we came from. And we're now 1.8 kilometers in, and I think they said it was like 2 kilometers or slightly less than 2, so we should almost be there. The canyon gets narrower and narrower, and actually there's a bit of water here even, but look how much salt is left behind on this on the sides here. It's pretty surprising that it's so salty, and it's actually flowing here. This is really the canyon section. We could still escape if there was a flash flood, Next slightly tricky section is a pile of broken rubble. But you go on. Gets tighter and tighter. And wetter and wetter. We're almost there. And we are 3.16 kilometers in at 45 minutes. Almost. And as you reach these power lines, you turn around this corner and there is the canyon. The famous canyon. At 49 minutes walking. So we're just gonna head up to the viewpoint behind me, but first things first. In terms of difficulty, super easy. Assume 45 minutes to 1 hour. And it does have some little climbs, like as in you do have to use your hands a bit, but they've attached rope to pull your way up. But it's really nothing difficult. Yeah, we've seen people with kids doing it, so.
People with Birkenstocks too.
Yeah, even people with Birkenstocks somehow manage their way up here. Don't ask me how, but they do. And even people with pants that don't fit properly. And this is the viewpoint. Au revoir. Feels like the far west here, like you're in a western. The hardest part is actually this last part,
Yeah.
up the hill. But these are the views, and those things look really nice.
So at this where do you see the enemies?
So that was the canyon. Based on my research, one of two main things you can visit on your way to Issyk Kul Lake. Burana Tower, and here this canyon along the highway. And I think we just agreed that this was more worth it than Burana Tower. I mean, the historicness of Burana Tower is very cool, but there's not that much left of the city beside the minaret. So if you're into hiking, which probably if you're coming to Kyrgyzstan you are, you could actually skip the Burana Tower if, like us, you don't have that much time because you're leaving at noon or the afternoon from Bishkek, and come here and spend more time doing an even longer hike into the canyons behind us. I'm sure there's a bunch more stuff to see beyond the viewpoint. So this is actually quite funny. While editing, I realized somehow I recorded this in slow motion with my DJI, and that's likely because, as you can see in the video, there's slow motion rain going down, and I was probably by accident I switched the mode, or maybe the raindrop switched the mode from normal filming to this slow motion, which looks quite funny. But to basically tell you what happened, we were on our way back, and as you saw in the last video, the sky was already darkening. We did know that it was going to be raining that day, but it was planned for 1 hour or 2 hours later. And essentially, we did not bring our raincoats for this hike. And suddenly, it really started pouring fat drops of water. And so we had to really speed hike our way down. Not the ideal situation, being in a tight canyon, especially as I mentioned earlier, potential flash floods. But we did not have flash floods. I mean, the water level in that little trickle of water turned into a small stream, nothing threatening. And it did stop halfway down the hike. But it was unexpected, especially by how hot it was when we left. And in Bishkek, it was so hot. And it really was unexpected. And as you saw, there was one other group going down at the same time as us, a group of French people. They had brought a backpack with their raincoats, but we got completely soaked. And then when we arrived back at the car, we obviously changed. And yeah. So basically, I did not figure out that I had the incorrect mode. But if I remember correctly, this is not too far further from that canyon. By the way, I do recommend visiting that canyon. And what I was commenting is, as you see that beautiful river in the valley, it reminded me sort of the environment that the Caspian tiger, which was a race of tiger which used to live in Central Asia and obviously to the Caspian region. It's now extinct. There is no Caspian tiger anymore. I believe that that it was hunted to extinction quite recently in the 19th century, in particular by the Russians, but obviously they were finished off later. And then in the next scene, we see the beautiful flatness and the amazing brand new road. This is already on the southern Issyk Kul road where the Chinese are building a brand new highway. It's beautiful, but large chunks are still under construction, but it rides very good. Probably by the time you're there, it will have been repaired and completely rebuilt. What we did encounter was actually a lot of rain that night, and in the section you will see that we're basically driving on this Chinese highway construction site, which somehow is rerouting the entirety of a river onto that road, right? So we were driving with our car literally in this stream of water from the rain. And if you observe, you can see that they put like some little mounds to the sides, but what they managed to achieve was to deflect the river into the road as opposed to deflecting it away from the road, because some of those mounds on the side had holes, and as the river rose, it basically came onto the road and then was kept in onto the road by the mounds on both sides of the car. And essentially, these are the driving conditions right now in south of Issyk Kul. Not great. And you basically will be faced with constant construction. We stayed at a place called Camp Agat, run by a Russian family. The guy's name is Oleg, and he made us some duck, which Steindl really liked a lot, as he's saying in the last video. Good morning, it's 8 a.m. We just woke up. Another drive towards Karakol today. On the southern part of Issyk Kul, as I said, in this Camp Agat, AGAT. And this is what I'm looking at. The top of the yurt. And that's what you will see on every Kyrgyz flag is that sign. And this is the yurt. We slept very nicely. As you see, the Kyrgyz beers of our Kiriltai yesterday are still here. And I'm going to show you my view. Hopefully it works. Right, this is our view. That's pretty cool, huh? Actually, I'm gonna stand up to show you guys the view. If you don't believe me that it's nice to bend over. And that's the shower right there. Took a shower last night. It was nice, it was warm. And I guess it used to be some type of farm, this building, I don't know what it's for. But they just put some yurts here. And that's where you do breakfast, over there in the background. I believe there. And yeah, this is our yurt. It's a yurt sapphire. So we're on our way to the Skazka Canyon. 20-minute ride from the yurt. And we've come upon this abandoned complex here. I'm gonna show you what I mean. Look at that. It's like a massive complex and we didn't know what it was. But if you look at that, it's actually some type of stage. There's a stage there with a figure of someone. Maybe in Soviet times this was like a big thing. And there's also looks to be like a Buddha up there, and there's like I don't know, like people riding a dragon. Really wonder what this is or what this was used for, because it looks pretty cool. And I mean, this would be a really cool place for like to be reused for some type of techno festival. It looks really nice and colored, really unique, looking over the Issyk Kul lake, and it's completely abandoned. What is this? Huh? Does anyone know what this is? There's statues in there. There's just plants growing everywhere. But it looks like it might have been used as a stage of some type. Here we are, continuing the drive along the southern coast of the Issyk Kul lake. And one thing that is insane is the amount of development that's going on here. Like as you saw, the road is being rebuilt.
So it should be like somewhere near here.
There.
That's
500 meters. Okay. So we're almost arriving, but they're building a massive highway, and at the side they're developing so many hotels and camping locations. So our prediction is that within 5 years this whole area is going to be insanely developed compared to now. So this is the start of the Skazka Canyon, and the parking is tiny. I think we got the last parking spot actually. Just do be aware to come early enough to grab a spot. And you have several hikes that you can go on. And we're gonna start with the longest one. So that's where we came from, the lake. You drive up through this canyon. Here's one of the first major attractions, a so-called Chinese wall. You can see why that's what it's called. You even have little holes in the wall, and you walk up as if it's the Chinese Great Wall.
Look, there's people all the way up there.
So it's really cool here, but it's arguably a bit tricky to come down here, mostly because of the loose little gravel stones. But it's really cool. Oops. I just wanted to shift the camera upwards. And it's basically a fun park. You can go wherever the hell you want. There's no one that is sort of telling you where you should go. Mahmoud, action shot.
You went that way, right?
Yeah, on the little hill. So in terms of timing, some people say you can take like 1 hour, 2 hours, or however much you want, exploring the little paths and gullies. I guess you just need to have a bit of a sure footing, especially if you want to come down from up there. Good job.
Yeah.
So here we're in the, I guess, the colorful area. You can see I'm not a geologist, so don't take my word on this, but the various layers. When the earth used to be flat, these layers stacked upon each other, and then now that ground has shifted from this to this, and so you can see all the nice colors. So guys, we found the panorama hike. It was not where we thought it was gonna be. It's much longer, much higher. I think it's worth it. So down there, we're looking down on the parking. That's the Chinese wall we climbed up and went down. That's a slippery area. And when I said that's probably the panorama hike, I was pointing towards here. That is not the panorama hike. This is a panorama hike. And it's technically much easier than that going down the Chinese wall. But I mean, obviously it's many more meters. So you'll get more tired, but you will not fall.
We do this up
Yeah.
Here we are again,
like
at the top.
Yeah.
And you can actually see people all the way down there. And people on top of the second Chinese wall peak. We went up to the first and down, then through the color valley, all the way like that to come up here. Up here. Those mountains in the background. Super turquoise waters here at Lake Issyk Kul, and lots of fly fishers, but we haven't seen anyone swimming really, although we have seen stand-up paddle boarders. And it's really one construction work after the other, so I recommend a 4x4 car. We're in a village called Dartak or Dartan, something like that. And many babushkas waiting on the side of the road, as you can see. And lots of dasha style houses, although I guess these are not dashas, these are the actual houses of the people. And we even have evergreen, the blockers of the Suez Canal here, in the middle of a Kyrgyz village. You see, and kids here waiting to hop into cars. Like, people here do a lot of auto stopping. It's insane. Like, those kids are just auto stopping their way to the next village to see their friends. Traffic jam on the Kyrgyz steppe. And we enter the big city of Karakol, easternmost big city of Kyrgyzstan, right near the Kazakh and Chinese border. So this is the Ashlan food restaurant, which is famous because it has Dungan noodles, which is a Chinese ethnic minority that moved to Kyrgyzstan many years ago. And so it's a Karakol dish, which we're about to try. Camera. So here we are in the restaurant. We got our food. This is the only meal they serve. This is the Dungan noodles. We had some trouble getting a table because no one speaks English and the waitress was sort of ignoring me, but we managed to talk to the people that are sitting to my left, which I'm not going to put on camera, and get a spot on the table. So what is the first evaluation?
I thought it would be warm.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I don't know. It's good, yeah.
Yeah. A bit spicy.
And now I'm going to try it as well. It's spicy.
Not really.
A bit.
It's good. And it is spicy. And it is cold, surprisingly cold. So we've come at some hot springs here. A bit to the north, 20 minutes to the north of Karakol. And it's really busy with locals. This is the hotel called Ordo Hotel in Karakol. I think it cost like 50 euros for one night, for three. This is what you get, breakfast included. So this is what the Ordo looks like from outside. I think that's our room here. And I checked the price on booking.com. It wasn't 50, it's actually 64 euros for the three of us. I still think it's a fair price. It's a decent price for 22 euros per person approximately. And it's a very villagey atmosphere here. Over here, and you have kids playing in the streets. We're now walking to the Orthodox Cathedral, and then we're gonna check out the Dungan Mosque, and then we're gonna try to find a nice terrace to drink a cold beer. Video! Wow! Okay, come! Come on! You ready?
Yeah.
Whoa! Good job! Now, here! Here, here! Yeah! Good one! We've arrived at a nice church, and you can buy flowers here at the church. And in about a bit, you're gonna see a very nice example of a wooden Russian Orthodox church. There is a lot of Russians living here in Karakol, which used to have a name in Russian, I guess something like Przewalsk or something like that. I read it on Wikipedia, but I forgot. Anyways, if we're lucky, the church is open. And we are lucky, the door is open, and there we go. A beautiful wooden built Orthodox church. Nice flower garden. And right, in Orthodox churches, the women have to wear a scarf as well. I always forget that. And typical is obviously the cross with the diagonal line going through it. In the background, you see the mountains of the Tian Shan Mountains, the baptism water thing there, I think. Hello.
Hello.
Oops. So I'm gonna turn off the camera. So this is the garden around the church. It's filled with flowers. Nice garden, and the church inside was really nice. It had paintings, light blue paintings of the various saints, and it had some old babushka and an old man cleaning up the church, because we read that it was actually already past closing time, so in theory we shouldn't have been able to come in at all, but they didn't even acknowledge us. We just walked in and they were sweeping the floor. It's definitely worth coming here. I haven't seen an Orthodox church of this wooden style before, so for me it was also something unique and new. Walking down a main street here in Karakol. It smells like food everywhere. And it's just supermarket after supermarket. I don't get how they can have so many supermarkets next to each other. I think this is like the Chinese imports stuff again. The apothecary, iPhones or phone stuff, ice cream, coffee. This is again more tech stuff. PPSH is the gun on this guy's back. So this here, I believe, I know he has a Mosin. So we have the fun park here, right next to a mall. It's a brand new mall, right next to a guy called, and now Steinl is going to bring out his best Russian soon. So this is the Dungan Mosque within the city, and the Dungan people are a Chinese people who converted to Islam and then fled to Kyrgyzstan, specifically to this part of Kyrgyzstan, and then they made their own little mosque here. And it looks like there's also an art school here right now, because lots of people are painting or drawing the mosque. It's one of the iconic buildings and a must visit. I mean, that is a very special minaret in the first place, the fact that it's made out of wood. The Karakol Dungan Mosque.
لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله حي على الفلاح
Visiting the mosque.
Yeah.
What is this place called again, Steinl?
The hut.
The Hut in Karakol.
But cheers.
Cheers. So we've now arrived at a restaurant called Dastarkon, and this place is fully packed. It has a bunch of these little separate rooms, and she basically asked us, do you have a reservation? No, we did not. Okay, well then we don't have space for you, just wait 20 minutes. Is it worth it? Probably yes, literally everyone comes here that's passing through Karakol. But we'll only be able to tell you that for sure once we've eaten. And yeah, we just had a couple of beers at the Hut bar up a bit, 6 minutes away. Paid the Yandex Go, which is the Uber from Kyrgyzstan. We paid like 70 euro cents to drive 10 minutes down here to Dastarkon. And now, okay, we're here. This is the table. So we just ordered our food. And
filming me and not the food artist.
well, I'm moving it right now. And this is the lakman, which is a Uyghur food. And we are right next to the Uyghurs, not far away from China. We just got some rice as a filler. We got these mantis here. And then we got these, dumplings / mantis. And then this is the salad.
Yeah.
So we just got our lamb and beef shashliks. And Steinl is making some very appreciative noises. Steinl, can you give us some first off the bat remarks regarding your shashliks?
You just had the beef shashlik so far, but they're very good.
Very good.
In the top 3 things I've had in this country, probably number 1. Yeah.
Okay, even after the manti and the noodles that we just had that were amazing?
Exactly.
Yeah? Okay. And to give you a look at what the shashlik is made of, we have the lamb shashlik and the beef shashlik, and they're separated every time by a chunk of fat in between. So that's the thing that they do over here apparently. And let's dive right in. So we just finished eating here at the Dastarkon restaurant, and we have to all say
It was amazing.
Very good.
very, very good. Every single meal was amazing. Really, really good. We do recommend it, even though it is filled to the brim with tourists.
Yeah.
It's good.